everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing the Netflix book tag because we all love Netflix. I know I do. It is my go-to when I need a break away from my books and I don't know what else to do besides from read. Then I go to Netflix and I find some TV shows that I love, obviously. I'm currently watching the second season of Glow, which is a show that has taken me by surprise. I stumbled across it accidentally in spring and watched the first season and I fell in love with it. And now the second season is out and it is even better. Other shows that I have been watching on Netflix in the past year are Homeland, The Americans, and also American Horror Story, which is one of my favorites. So needless to say, I have found a lot of my favorite TV shows on Netflix, but today we're going to combine that platform with books and I'm going to share with you some books that correspond to Netflix in some way. I have a list of questions on my phone that I'm going to read aloud and then show you some books as we go along. And the first question is about recently watched. The last book you finished reading, that is Stalking, Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, a young adult horror novel. It's not too horrible, but it is based on reality surrounding Jack the Ripper because our main character likes to examine dead bodies and then one day she stumbles across a victim of Jack the Ripper's and then the story takes on from there. I really liked how this book is historically accurate and how it comes with some pictures from that period in London that correspond very well with the story. So I like this and I'm kind of interested to get to the second book, which is about Dracula. Question number 2 is called Top Picks. A book or books that have been recommended to you based on books you have previously read. For this one, I decided to go for The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter. I don't know if this is cheating, but this author is an author that a lot of people recommend if you want to read crime. And I want to get familiar with her, so based on the other crime books I've read, I want to read this one and compare and see if I like her better than some of the other books I have read. It's one that I'm definitely looking forward to, but I know that I have to be in the mood for crime when I dive into it, and right now that's not the case, but I know I will be at some point. Question number 3 is called Recently Added, the last book you bought. Now, I showed you in my previous reading vlog from the first week of July that I bought a small bunch of French books, which are the last books I've bought. So I'm just going to show you one of those. This is Rien ne se pose à la nuit by Delphine de Vigan, and I haven't gotten to it yet, but it's one that I am interested in because it is a memoir on the author's relationship to her mother, and it's received quite great reviews, and it's a petite French book that I just feel inspired to read, so it will happen at some point, hopefully this year. Number 4 is about popular on Netflix, books that everyone knows about, and then I'm going to show you 2 that I have read and 2 that I haven't read or have no interest in. I'm going to start with the 2 books I have read. First we have A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I think a lot of people know of this book. It won a prize back in the days and it's one that I rave about a lot on this channel because it is really beautiful and heartbreaking. I don't think I need to go into a synopsis because it's a book that's so popular that I'm pretty sure you've heard of it already, but if you really want to know what it's about, then go check out the synopsis on Goodreads, I guess. And then the second book that I have read and that I think a lot of people have heard about is this one, The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This is historical fiction and thriller / horror. It's about a man who wakes up in a different body for 8 days straight and he has to figure out who killed Evelyn Hardcastle in the span of 8 days and from the perspective of different persons. It's a very interesting thriller that I was surprised with and that I basically devoured in 2 days. For the 2 books that I haven't read but that are also very popular, I have here The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, about the slavery movement in America in the 1800s. And then I have Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, which is a classic that I haven't read yet, even though I do really enjoy Dostoevsky and his books. So there is no excuse for me not having read it. I think I'm saving it for a time in winter when I'm in the mood for a great classic. Question number 5 is about Comedies, a funny book. I don't laugh a lot from books, not from movies either. I'm not a person to laugh that easily. But one book that came to mind when I read this question is The Humans by Matt Haig. This is a book that is about an alien that is put on Earth to complete a mission. Meanwhile, the alien observes the human race and he finds us very peculiar. And once you read these observations of his, you can't help but laugh because they are so poignant and hilarious. He really is right about some of these observations and how we behave in weird ways. So I would consider this my pick for the comedy genre. Question number 6 is about dramas, a character who is a drama queen or king. I think that Emma Bovary from Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert is quite a drama queen. Now, it's been some years since I read this book, but I do remember that it's about a protagonist who is very unsatisfied with her marriage. She wants for this great life of escapism and romance and Prince Charming coming to save her. And she's being quite a drama queen in her marriage with Charles, poor Charles, who just wants to live a normal life with his wife. And then we have Animated, a book with cartoons on the cover. I had a problem with this one, but then I came up with a book that is even better than having cartoons on the cover, because I came up with a book that is actually called The Animators. This is by Kayla Ray Whittaker, and it's about a couple of female friends who start their own animation company in which they produce movies that become famous nationwide. However, their friendship crumbles along the way, and it's also the story of their journey and the bumps that they take on that journey. And it does look kind of cartoonish on the cover. At least it's got to do with TV, as you can see. Question number 8 is called Watch It Again, a book or a book series you want to reread. I couldn't decide on one book, so I have 2 to show you. I really want to reread The House of Spirits by Isabel Allende. It's been too many years since I last read it and I loved it. And then also A Spool of Blue Thread by Anne Tyler. Both are books that I absolutely adored, and I want to revisit these characters and these settings and plots. Can you even see the books? They're pretty shiny. Then we have Documentaries, and that is a non-fiction book you would recommend to everyone. Once again, I couldn't settle for one book. I had to go for 3. All 3 are books that I would definitely recommend to everyone if you have any interest in them. I think that they are important to read and also very educating. Hence the title of the first book, which is Educated by Tara Westover. This is about a girl. It's a memoir of her childhood and how she grew up in a family with some parents who didn't believe in the government. They believed that the world would end at some point and they had to prepare for that. So no education for the children and a very alternative upbringing. I also have In Order to Live by Young-mi Park, which is another memoir. This one is from North Korea because this author grew up in North Korea. She escaped, but this is her account of what it was really like to live there. And this is an eye-opener, a book that I think is so important, especially these days with everything that is going on in North Korea. It was a book that educated me and I loved it for that. And I couldn't do this without mentioning this one as well, which is my favorite of favorites. This is The Diary of a Bookseller by Sean Bythell. I've already been talking a lot about it on this channel, so I won't go into depth about the actual book once again. But it is The Diary of a Bookseller, and that's all you need to know. If you like to read about books, then this is the book for you. Also, if you like pretty books, this is the book for you. Then we have question number 10, which is action and adventure, an action-packed book. Now, I'm smiling because I'm not one to read a lot of action-packed books. So needless to say, it was kind of hard to find a book for this category, but I did come up with one that I haven't read yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be very action-filled. Wonder Woman by Leigh Bardugo. I mean, it's a book that I don't think I'm going to absolutely love, but I am curious enough to read it. People have told me after I hauled this book that it's not a book for me. It really isn't, and I'm sure they're right. But I have it and I am going to read it at some point. And I think it's going to be filled with action. I mean, it's about a female superhero, and even though I don't know Wonder Woman that well, I'm curious to get to know her better through this novel. For question number 11, we have new releases, a book that just came out or will be coming out soon that you can't wait to read. I can't wait to read Haruki Murakami's new book coming out on October the 9th called Killing Commendatore. I haven't even read the synopsis yet. I think I just saw that it was coming out. I immediately added it to my wish list and in my calendar so that I will remember to order it when it is out. I love Murakami and I can't get enough of him, and it's amazing that we finally get a new book from him. I think this is one of his bigger ones, but I could be mistaken. But if it is, that makes me even more excited because you know I love my big books, and Murakami and big book combined makes for a great story. The last question is called Max, and this one is to tag some people. I'm going to tag anyone who would love to do this. I mean, if you have a love for Netflix and books as I do, feel free to do this tag and let me know in the comments if you do so I can check out your video. That is it for this tag video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will now get back to my Netflix, and until my next video, happy reading.